bar. You said the Red Sox could crawl over their low bar. Same thing with the Patriots. Like, what does Van Pelt's offense look like? Is it halfway competent? Can the quarterbacks run it? Do they have enough at receiver? And, like, my guess is all the answers to those are no. I'm guessing it's no. But I want to see that. And I think that's the biggest question. Defensively, could they drop off? Sure. Is Gerard Mayo going to get as much out of this team as Bill did? Debatable. Like, I think there are other questions that I'm intrigued by, but largely they all reside on offense. Can they run Van Pelt's scheme? Can Van Pelt run his own scheme?
There's questions about the defense, but they're not as big. Yeah.
What is Van Pelt's scheme? Oh, by the way, since he's barely ever called plays, which quarterback's going to run it? Which receiver steps up? Like, all these things on the offense, can they have a competent offense? I'm going to track that through training camp. I want to see that in the preseason, obviously once the actual games roll around. But these are the things that I want to see. And these are the boxes that I want to check when I'm reading about training camp reports. Who said this last week? Was it Travis Thomas? When he's like, oh, yeah, I don't care about training camp. I don't care about that at all. I'm like, oh, my God, I desperately am going to be following that day by day. I'm going to be living and dying on training camp reports. I can't wait.
That's something Andy Hart would have said. Andy Hart's into training camp.
I can't wait. I love all that stuff. And so, like, I will be paying every single day. What's the offense look like? Which quarterback is ahead? Are they picking up Van Pelt's scheme? What is Van Pelt's scheme? These are all things I care about and I want to see. And the quarterback room to me is important beyond Drake May. Brissett and May are going to be on the team. Is Zappe going to be on the team? Bedard says no. He says Joe Milton is far too important to expose to the rest of the league. And so, look, that to me is what you got to figure out in your quarterback room. And I don't think Zappe or Milton you're going to regret releasing either one. But who's more likely to clear waivers and come back to this team? That's how I do it. And if you think Milton's going to get claimed or Milton's going to go sign with someone else's practice squad, well, then you keep him and let go of Zappe because the league didn't want Zappe a year ago. But that's also before Zappe started some games late last year and flashed a little bit in the Pittsburgh game. He won the Denver game. There were also some terrible games mixed in there.
Also, it was the Jets, scoreless in the Chargers
The Jets game at the end of the year, the Chargers game. Those are both weather games in fairness. But if you're playing in the Northeast, you got to play in the weather. And so he put some more tape out. Maybe there's a chance there's more teams looking to claim him for their quarterback room. But how does all that play out? Certainly a question. We'll get to Bedard on Matthew Judon as well. But Zach in Maine wants to discuss Judon. Go ahead, Zach.
Hey, guys, I was just calling. This guy's been complaining about his contract now for, the last 3 years, or at least 2. And, I mean, as a Patriots fan, how can you invest more money into this defense when the offense is so god-awful? I mean, you guys are talking about if they're going to be competent. I can tell you, they won't be competent. Sure, maybe, Jalen Polk or one of these wide receivers will end up being good. But, I mean, as a fan, why would I want you to invest in a 32-year-old Matt Judon who can't stay on the field?
Well, Zach, why do you want them investing in some of the other players they've invested in?
Right.
This is where I think Judon has a sound case.
I sort of agree with him in the sense of you didn't need to bring back everybody from the defense, but you can't bring back everybody and not Judon. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'm saying I agree with you 100%. Yeah. It's like all these other guys got paid. I would not give Godchow a penny. I wouldn't give him a penny. But you've paid Barmore. You paid, to a degree, Uche, although he's already upset about his contract.
Right, but he did get paid, so yeah.
They paid him this offseason. They fronted Judon money last year, and Judon doesn't sound thrilled about it. So on the one hand, it's like, yeah, all right, they already fronted him money. He is 32, and he's coming off injury. I get all that. But with everybody else you paid who is undeserving of a contract, Judon's probably the most deserving of ripping up his contract and getting a new one.
And now you draw a line, like, very weird that because it seemed like Gerard Mayo and, in general, Elliott Wolf and everybody else was dead set on making sure that this was a familiar roster, that this was something that Mayo could have a rapport with a lot of these guys that he's worked with already, guys that he knows, guys that he's coached, right? Like, that seemed like that was an important factor in all of this. And now all of a sudden you're playing games with Matthew Judon. Like, that's very strange. It's strange how you get from point A to point B with that.
Arguably the best player on the team.
Right.
And
he's been here a while.
ESPN has been doing these various positional rankings. Judon, I think, also received votes at edge, which is a competitive position. Your highest-rated player was Kyle Duggar at 8. More ranks came out over the weekend, by the way. They don't have a quarterback on the list, obviously. Tight end Hunter Henry came in at 20th. I think we did that on Friday. And then Mike Onwenu, interior offensive lineman, 15th. He was an honorable mention, no tackles. So the team doesn't have a lot of talent, but sure, one of your actual talented players, why don't you bust his balls? Here's Bedard again, by the way, on his podcast. Here's what he's hearing. Emphasis on hearing about Matthew Judon.
We have to talk about Matthew Judon and his future with the Patriots. What I know is he may be playing nice publicly, and he has said all the right things. And if you want to believe him, take him at his word, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. What I can tell you is from the people that I've talked to, he is not going to play under his current contract. At least for the Patriots. I can't talk about any place else. That's my understanding. I don't know exactly what's been communicated to the team, but that's my understanding. You could also put Devon Godchow in that bucket. So the question gets in, what do you want to do with Matthew Judon? Do you want to extend him? Do you want to give him a short-term raise? Would you rather trade him to a contender or somebody who wants to pay him? All those options, I would think, are currently on the table.
Okay, let's play that out then, Arkan. Forget about the Godchow thing. And by the way, Judon said, before you get on my ass, I didn't say that. He tweeted this out over the weekend. I didn't say that. Let them make me the villain. Or don't let them make me the villain, rather. So Judon, again, publicly, is not saying anything. I'm guessing he wants a new contract. Of course he wants a new contract. He wanted it last year. So I don't blame him for wanting a new one. Do you give him a new deal, Arkan? Do you front him some money again, like you did a year ago, guarantee him some money in the meantime, or do you trade him to a contender? Which door are you choosing?
I'd probably just trade him at this point. I think that you have a pretty good defense. He's probably your best player on it, but this isn't the type of team that I think is one Matthew Judon away from winning 10 games or 11 games. And if you think that they are, then fine. Then you keep them and you extend them and you make them happy and you do all those things. But I think that whether or not you have Matthew Judon, you're probably like a 4 or 5 win team. He may be worth 1 win, maybe even. I don't know if he's worth that, but he's a good playmaker and he's a guy who sells jerseys, and I understand there's value in that regard. But even now, I mean, I don't know. Is anybody buying Matthew Judon jerseys anymore? Like, you guys haven't played much recently, and I just sort of think at this point you might have some value with a team, a real contender out there that needs some help on the edge, needs a veteran presence in their locker room. 3rd or a 4th, maybe?
Yeah, so to me, that's not worth it. I'd throw him a few extra bucks this year and keep him happy. You don't need to full out pay him. Have him come back and prove that he's worth it. You need a 4th-round pick?
You don't need one, but I don't think you need him either.
Okay. Well, I mean, what are you doing? Are you tanking?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to get the number 1 pick?
Kind of tanking,
Okay, fine. If you're tanking, then go for it. Then go ahead and trade everything that isn't nailed down.
It just doesn't seem like a great ROI. Like, okay, so you pay him and you make him happy, and then what happened? Like, you're a 5-win team instead of a 4. Like, I don't really see the point of that.
I'd
rather just trade him.
I don't see the point in a 4th-round pick.
Okay, but there's value in a 4th-round pick. There's no value in 5 wins as opposed to 4.
You hate Bailey Zappi. He was a 4th-round pick.
Sure, there's a lot of good 4th-round pick. James White was a 4th-round pick.
Yep.
That's something that has
more,
a tangible
more
piece
bad
of value.
than good, but sometimes they hit. Yeah, I don't see the value. I'd rather have Judon out there helping the team and investing in an actual good player. You don't have to do it long-term. Front him some money. Keep him happy for this year. I'm not trading him for a 4th-round pick. I don't get at the end. I can get 4th-round picks from anywhere. I don't need that. Let's go to Brian in Rhode Island. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I was just talking to my father. My father's a diehard Patriots fan, and he was saying that if the Cowboys if the Cowboys start the season like 1-5, 2-4, there's a strong possibility that McCarthy gets sent packing, and Jerry Jones is, I think, 81, 82. He has the money, and he'll probably go get Belichick.
Okay, yeah, I don't
think the Cowboys are going to start the season 1-4.
Good take by your father. I just think he might be a few months behind. We've talked about the Cowboys quite a bit. Tom Curran, in a clip we played earlier this hour, was surmising Bill standing at a podium, taking questions about Dak Prescott. I think we've talked through that one quite a bit. Who wrote the story in the immediate aftermath of Bill leaving town? Who was that? At ESPN? Wickersham? Don Van Natta and Wickersham?
Maybe, yeah.
All kinds of talk about Jerry Jones wanting to make a run at Bill Belichick.
And about why Atlanta didn't want him and all that. Yeah, that was those guys. Yeah.
So, to me, I don't know. I'm with you, Arkan. I don't think Dallas is going to be bad.
Right.
But maybe they win 10 games. They flame out in the postseason again. They move on from McCarthy. I think Bill desperately wants to coach again. And if Dallas is in the mix, I think he'd take it. He would have taken the effing Falcons job last year, for God's sakes. So he'd take Dallas or Philly or any actual good job, some job we don't even foresee opening yet. He'd take those jobs. I think he's desperate for a job. No one was interested in him last year except for Atlanta, and he was ready to sell his soul to get the Falcons job. So, yeah, he'll take it. I wonder if the league is warming up on him. And I don't know, you tell me. Is working on the CW and dating a 24-year-old helping him get back into the league? It might. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
It's
to
keeping
really
his
help
name in the paper. I'll say that.
For sure doing that.
Definitely still in the headlines. I wonder if he would be averse to taking a job mid-season or after like a month into the season, because then, it's generally that's a team in turmoil, right? Like it's a team that has problems and then they need to fire their coach. You don't get a chance to have an off season. You do get a head start on the record, which is really what this is all about. But if it's a team that's firing their coach, then I'd imagine you're probably not, you're not winning 11 games, especially if you have 4 of them already ticked off the schedule. So that's something I wonder about. Like, is desperate for a job? I agree with you. I think he is. But would he take one 6-7 weeks into the season?
Yeah, so their bye week is after week 6. Brian just said this in my ear. Brian doing a great job on headlines today, or trending rather. At Cleveland, New Orleans, Baltimore, at the Giants, at Pittsburgh, home against Detroit, bye week, and then you get the Niners coming out of the bye week. Those first 6 games are difficult. Are you going to fire him after the San Francisco game? No, you'd fire him on the bye week. So
right.
Bill taking over midseason, I agree with you on that. I don't think that's super realistic.
He'd be 4-2 at that point. Like,
yeah.
It's not that hard of a schedule.
Cowboys are good.
Yeah.
And I don't see Bill, I don't see a team giving Bill the job midseason. I think Bill would jump at anything.